George Pickens obviously worked out for them. He's not on the team.
Yeah, he's just great somewhere else.
You just parlayed it with DK Metcalf. I think it's the same player.
Pickens is better. He's crazy.
Okay, what's Metcalf?
You can see Metcalf grabbing the fan's blue wig, and it appears he takes a swing at the guy.
Yep, got my ass. You're right. They are the same player.
They're the same player. George Pickens is the DK Metcalf of George Pickens.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you for landing the plane for us.
Welcome to the opening bell, the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. Trevor, Sikkema, Connor Rogers here with you guys for, this is every time a very exciting episode of the program, but it really is, Connor. Feels like this is the ranking that everybody has been waiting for in the 2026 NFL draft class, and that is quarterbacks. We are giving you our top 8 early rankings for the quarterback position in the 2026 NFL draft. Now that the national championship has come and gone, congratulations to Kurt Signetti, Fernando, Mendoza, and the Indiana Hoosiers, by the way. But now that we know exactly who's in this class, now we can analyze exactly what these quarterbacks are going into the draft, and maybe more importantly for some people, Connor, stack it up versus potential free agent options, because I think that's going to mean a lot towards this conversation. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm laughing that I see in the chat right away. Did 8 quarterbacks? Are there even 8 quarterbacks declaring from Cade Pedler? I'm not going to lie. It was tough. And the 8th spot wasn't a battle by, hell in a cell. It was kind of a whimper.
Well, it was, but both of them just descend to hell. That's how it goes.
Oh, right. Threw themselves off the cell.
Right.
So,
right.
By the way, shout out to the chef, man. What an open. Hey, he's just editing masterpieces on a podcast right now.
He's getting better and better and better at cold opens the longer that he is the producer of this show. And it is scary because now we actually have to be accountable with the things that we say. Because if it's out of pocket at all, guess what? It's going in the cold open in the next show.
That's right. We weren't even cold open farming there.
No, we weren't. We're just telling it like it is.
It's unbelievable. Oh, man.
This quarterback class is an interesting one. I don't think I'm breaking any news, shattering any glass when I say that it is not the strongest quarterback class. But I think that's also when you sort of look at positions that are a little less obvious at the top, especially one that comes with quarterbacks and the responsibility that that position has, you've kind of got to nail it. Right, I think that this quarterback class is going to be different from team to team depending on who you ask. And some guys are going to look at and prioritize higher floor players, which we'll get into in this discussion. Other teams are going to prioritize higher ceiling players and just taking a chance on those players. But yeah, I mean, I went through most of the top guys that aren't all-star bowl guys, but I went through a good amount of the senior and Shrine Bowl players. I didn't watch all the quarterbacks I am going to watch, but I've gotten some mid-season looks from some of these guys that I didn't quite get to, so I knew that, okay, I'm probably not going to end up having them in my top 8 when it's all said and done. But it was an interesting exercise to go back and look at all of these players and just really try to stack them up against one another.
How's Wally?
Wally he is wonderful. For everybody that was asking me about him, I appreciate you guys. In case you missed it, going back to the last show that we did on Monday, my wife and I are fostering a dog, and we're looking for his forever home. We wish that it could be us, but the dog that we currently have doesn't love another animal in his dojo, and so we actually think that the best spot will be somewhere else for him. But, I mean, he's wonderful. He's a wonderful dog. He's just becoming more and more familiar with just like the routine of overall life because he's a puppy and potty training, and he's picking things up so quickly because he's so damn smart. And if you guys missed it, it's at the end of the episode that we did on Monday, the Fixing the Steelers episode. I tell you exactly where you could go: Yellow Brick Road, dogrescue.org. And obviously that's in Charlotte where I'm at. But man, if you live in, honestly, like, I love this dog. Anywhere in North Carolina, South Carolina, the surrounding states, if you apply for this dog and you were a perfect fit for his forever home, we would drive him to you. We really would, because he's absolutely wonderful. So thank you for asking, for getting me an opportunity to say that at the top of the show as well. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
All right. Let's dive into it though. Top 8s. So what we'll do, the new format of how we're doing these top 8s, we'll go 8 through 4.
Oh.
The chef will reveal those, and then we'll get to have, I think, some cross conversations of where we end up having each of these names, and then we'll get into the top 3. We'll talk about the guys in the top 3 and where we could end up seeing them drafted. So, buddy, go ahead.
All right. There it is. Look at that beautiful animation of my giant head. I love it. Number 8, Cade Klubnik from Clemson was a popular talking point during summer scouting from the strides he had made in the 2024 season. And like just about every Clemson player we talk about on this show, it was not their year, and a lot of their prospects took steps backwards. And he sneaks onto my rankings at 8, which I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't even know if he'd make this cut. It's good that he accepted a Shrine invite. I'm glad you're going to get to see him there. And hopefully that's the start of a more positive process for Cade Klubnik. 7, some call him Doc. Those that know him call him Doc. His name birth certificate is Sawyer Robertson from Baylor, another summer scouting legend. 6, Carson Beck has been on 3 summer scoutings.
Yes.
2 Georgias, 1 Miami. So yes, Carson Beck, who all of you just watched play in the national title game, there at number 6 for me. We have talked about him a lot on this show, but we will do it once again. It's kind of funny because I watched him again for this exercise, and he is still the same exact guy in every way.
You talking about Beck still?
Yeah. It just always depends on his environment around him. Like, you know almost exactly what you're going to get from Carson Beck. He hasn't really gotten better in a lot of areas to me over the last 3 years. And we'll have a conversation, longer one, about him. I know some people really like him from this season. I thought he was the same guy, though, that he was at Georgia, for better and for worse. Like, there's things he does well, but there are shortcomings with him where I didn't really see him as a long-term viable starter, of course.
For better or for worse, in sickness or in health.
Yes.
For richer or for poor.
Yep. Keep going. How many you got in the tank?
I think that's it, right? Isn't that the 3? I don't know.
If any more come to mind.
I only got married once. Get off me.
Yeah, that's it. One and done. 5, Drew Allar, who, ended up not being a good decision for Drew Allar to go back to school, unfortunately. And we'll break that down. He's probably the hardest prospect to figure out in this draft because I think me having him at 5 is actually higher than how I technically view him right now. Like, we're still waiting on things to pop for him from a physical perspective. Well, trust me, we're going to talk about Drew Allar plenty. And then 4, the man that might not even be in this draft because he's going to war in the courtroom, and that is Trinidad Chambliss. Yeah, you heard it. Lawyering up.
That threw me for a curveball when you were like, he might not even be in this draft. He's going to war. I was like, what? I was like, did he get drafted? Or do we have a draft?
We have a draft?
Right now?
Am I going to war?
Right, that's what I was about to be like.
What
Wait
war
a second.
are we in? You look so scared.
That's a wild way to set that up. It might not even be in this because he's going to war.
It was not a smart way to intro a ranking. It's not great. Number 4, Trinidad Chambliss, who, I mean, we have to act like he's in the draft right now, as much as he is trying to play more
the
college
military
football.
Draft or the NFL draft?
The NFL draft.
Okay, just making sure.
Specify over and over again.
Joe in the chat said, this isn't the draft I signed up for. He signed the wrong papers.
What content am I watching? Oh, no.
Oh, that's incredible. Okay, so, all right, that's your 4 through 8. I guess we'll reveal my 4 through 8.
There it is.
There we go. Okay. I have Carson Beck at 8.
Almost all the same names.
I have GOATmyer from Illinois. GOATmyer.
GOATmyer was 9 for me.
GOATmyer making the list.
Nice. Love to see it. Senior Bowl guy.
Yeah. Drew Allar I have at 6. Garrett Nussmeier I have at 5. And then Cade Klubnik I have at 4. But it is funny. I have him at 4. And the way that you were setting up, sort of talking about him at 8, I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not wrong. I just have that as QB4 in this class.
So that's the thing, dude. Some people are just like, if you just saw this still as a screenshot, you'd be like, damn, you guys still like Cade Klubnik, or you guys still like Drew Allar? No, I mean, this is the state of the class. I think that Well, there's a lot of things I like about Trinidad right now, but of course he's undersized.
Let's save Trinidad, and
for the
then
yeah.
Because we'll talk about him, and then I think we should talk about Garrett Nussmeier as the transition guys into the top three, because I'm just theorizing here. I believe that will be a smooth transition for us getting into the top three quarterbacks in this draft. Let's start with Carson Beck, though, because he just played in the national championship for Miami, and it came up short in the national championship. Had that last throw at the end that he undercut a little bit, couldn't quite get it to the outside. I don't know if he was trying to get it to the outside and he just didn't have the juice for it, or if he was thinking that the corner was going to sink a little bit, but he didn't really have anybody to sink and threaten for him to not retreat deep with the wide receiver. So I wasn't sure exactly what happened there, but a lot of people look at Carson Beck's year from Miami and they think that it's been a big-time reclamation project, that he has been a lot better, that after last year and how he played at Georgia, there were a lot of people who were thinking that, okay, this is a mid to late day three type of a quarterback. And then after the year that he had with Miami, how Miami was playing well, especially through the college football playoff, I saw a lot of people talking about him as, can he be a QB4 in this class, QB3 in this class? You have like a game manager type of player and all this kinds of stuff. Connor, I think that we've talked about him for a while now. He was in summer scouting twice, I think, for us. So it would be
twice.
We've talked about Carson Beck plenty. He's got the build for the NFL, 6'4", 220 pounds. I think before the elbow injury, he had a decent arm for the NFL. Didn't really play well under pressure, not super mobile, but definitely somebody who could attack over the middle of the field, who could go through progressions, and again, just sort of that West Coast and style and game manager type of quarterback that you feel good about having a pretty high floor. I'm actually more worried about him now than ever because I don't think his arm is the same after that UCL surgery. I think he got UCL surgery and I just did not see that same type of juice in his, which I already didn't think that he had the greatest arm in the world.
Right.
But I thought it was adequate for the NFL level for the last 2 years when he was playing at Georgia. And this past year, I don't know. I felt like it wasn't even what it was before at Georgia. So now I have a quarterback who is kind of a statue in the pocket, not really mobile, doesn't play well under pressure. I think the lack of mobility goes into that a little bit. And now for the game manager type of role that he has, I feel like he was putting the ball a little bit more in harm's way, or actually the way that I should say it, because his turnover-worthy play percentage was relatively low over the last 2 years. Specifically this past season, it was below 2%, which is awesome. But the big-time throw rate was also way down for him. The big-time throw rate was like 3.4, which is much lower than it had been for him even when he was at Georgia, when he wasn't known as a super vertical passer.
Right.
So you now have somebody who has a lower ceiling already. And now the floor is lower that I'm kind of comfortable taking. I think Carson Beck is firmly a day three quarterback, and I think he's like a mid to late day three quarterback.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would not have him in the first 3 rounds, and I don't think I'd have him in the fourth. You nailed exactly what I was alluding to when I introed my rankings, that, when I said he was the same player, you're right about the elbow injury. Maybe he's even less of one, but more in the light of he's not very mobile and he's bad under pressure. Mm-hmm. And it's been year after year of that. Even when you just go purely on the numbers, when you look at 2024, when he was averaging 5.6 yards per attempt when pressured and under a 40 completion percentage with a turnover-worthy play percentage of 9.4%, which is sky high. In 2025, you would think, it must have been so much better. Miami went to the national title game. He looked better in that offense by the eye test. Yeah, the completion percentage went up to 52.5 and the yards per attempt went up to 6.6. That's really low. The turnover-worthy play percentage was still 8.7, which is stunning.
Yeah.
So you're going to be under pressure in the NFL, especially when you aren't mobile.
Mm-hmm.
It's only going to get much harder. And you make a great point, Trevor. If the arm isn't where it was, it's just going to be tough for him. He's going to kind of have to evolve from a IQ standpoint. And the turnovers don't display optimism for that.
He's got to be an assassin between the ears, to be honest. Like, he's got to be a master of pre-snap reads, post-snap rotations, because he's going to have to anticipate at an even higher level than what he did when he was at Georgia. When he was at Georgia, if you tell me pre-injury, even with a bad 2024 season, I'd have told you, like, okay, Carson's probably going to get drafted in the 4th round. He's probably going to get a chance to be a starter at some point. And that might still exist for him depending on the path that he takes in the team that drafts him. But again, I just look at his arm this past year and I go, man, I'm worried about it. I'm worried about the overall arm strength. And when you don't have a lot of great play under pressure already, I think that that's a big issue. One area that I really like to put quarterbacks in when it comes to, judging who they are in certain situations is intermediate middle of the field. 10 to 19 yards down the field. In between the numbers, in between the hashes. And I think it's a major key point to playing quarterback at the NFL level, because whether it's backside routes, like a backside dig, or even front side concepts where you've got a deep crosser and you're trying to hit it between where the linebackers are and the safeties are, you've got to be able to hit over the intermediate middle of the field in order to truly unlock everything and put stresses on defenses at the NFL level. Carson Beck, over the last 2 years at Georgia and then this year at Miami, 1 big-time throw, 6 turnover-worthy plays throwing over the middle of the field. Now, he did have 106 attempts throwing over the intermediate middle of the field, which I think was the most of any quarterback. But he also had a very high turnover-worthy play ratio when that was the case. And that worries me. That worries me when NFL defenses get a lot faster, especially in that middle part where there's a lot of bodies there. So Beck is, he's got the background that we've talked about that NFL coaches are going to love. Former 4-star, he played baseball, he was a pitcher. I mean, he had a scholarship to South Carolina as a freshman in baseball,
and he was initially committed to play baseball for Florida.
I know, and then when he was committed to Alabama after that, he was committed to Alabama to play football and baseball before he pivoted to Georgia and just the football route. But NFL teams, I think, love the background, the build, all that stuff. But after the UCL surgery, I just don't know if he has the arm that you need him to have, even as a game manager type. So,
yeah. Another one last thing too.
Yep.
And once again, like I've never talked to Carson Beck. Maybe I will at the combine. Don't love the body language throughout games.
Keep going. I don't.
If your skill set is projected where in the NFL you want to be a backup, right? A long-term backup. And like it takes a certain kind of personality and demeanor to really hold that job in the NFL, because you need to be ready to play at any moment and be so responsible in the offense to keep it afloat. Like there's also an aspect of like, what kind of guy are you in that quarterback meeting room? Whether it's you're eventually going to be there for a younger player, or if you're going into the NFL like Carson Beck, how are you going to take to learning from the older guys? I'm not saying he doesn't do that, but it's just one of those things that gets called out a lot, and I understand why it does.
Yeah. I'm with you. I just don't have a lot of reason to draft Carson Beck outside of the fact that he played a lot of meaningful football in big games for both Georgia and Miami.
Yeah.
And obviously he's been a part of those things. How big of the piece of the puzzle was he, and will he be in the NFL? I think that that'll be interesting to see what the NFL thinks of Carson Beck. We normally do our super chats at the end of the show, but I had to shout this one out because we got a $100 super chat.
Whoa, hello.
I know. So look, we will do all the super chats at the end of the show and after the episode portion of the show, but I wanted to shout this one out because it is also topical and is a segue into talking about one Drew Allar. The super chat was, I understand that you are ranking prospects, but is where they land, teams that develop well, versus their pure skill more important? That said, Drew Allar to the Rams to sit behind Stafford and learn from McVay is the question there. Before we get to the Drew Allar part of it, yeah, of course, landing spot is huge. And it's huge for every single player, no more so than the quarterback position.
It's Sam Darnold.
Look at Sam Darnold, obviously. And there are plenty of other quarterbacks that go other places and succeed. The timing of franchises, where you are in your winning window. Do you have the offensive line? Do you have a running game? Do you have receivers to be able to throw to? Do you have an offensive mind that is one of the better offensive minds in the NFL? Or are they a guy who's about to be replaced? The timing of where these franchises are in their winning windows, ownership, how invested they are in you, whether they have to win right away for a coach that might be on the hot seat, or whether they have a little bit of time to wait. All of that goes into it. I don't know if I would say that landing spot is always more important than talent, but Connor, I would tell you that landing spot can sometimes ruin talent. Like, I think that there are examples where, like you just said, like with Sam Darnold, where I don't know if it's more important or less important. I think that's situation to situation, but there are definitely situations that tell you that landing spots can really screw things up for talented quarterbacks.
Right. There are the outliers that are so elite they overcome the situation. When you look at what Joe Burrow has done for Cincinnati.
Yep.
And maybe that's not the greatest example because you could argue the Bengals should be much better than they actually are. But the difference between Burrow on that team and anyone else is like, whoof. So, I mean, Buffalo was a franchise that was in a really bad place for a long time. And Sean McDermott, ironically, was a huge part of that turnaround. But the development of Josh Allen is what took them to the next level from being a consistent playoff team. So, yeah, there are guys that can rise above it, but those are so few and far between that development is obviously pivotal because chances are you're not going to get a crack at one of those players.
So let's talk about Drew Allar. Where'd you have Drew Allar? You had him 5?
5.
You had him 5, and I had him 6. Talk to me about what you saw from Allar and sort of what is QB 5 and QB 6, sort of like mean to you of where you would draft a player like this?
Well, yeah, for Beck, I said he's probably more of a 5th round and on player for me, and he was QB 6, which is when you hear that, it's like, wow, that is, but it happens, man. It does, especially with quarterback classes. Allar's a little bit more difficult to figure out because I wouldn't draft him until the 4th round or later.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would really have to, my coaching staff, specifically my quarterback coach and play caller, would really have to be banging the table and explaining the plan that they have for him for me to even go as early as the 4th round. And some people might be surprised to hear that I wouldn't take him on day 2 right now. Here was my thing with Drew Allar, right? Coming into the season, he was one of those prospects that could play his way into the 1st round. And the first thing everybody will always say to you is that he's 6'4", 240 pounds, and he's got plenty of arm to play the position at the NFL level. And nobody's going to push back on that with you. There's plenty of examples on tape of him being a full field reader, as we've talked about before. I thought in 2023 and 2024, he kept the ball out of harm's way, kind of played boring football for the most part. But, man, and he's here's the other thing with Drew Allar. He is a gamer. He's tough. He'll run through tacklers when he has to.
He can run QB power for sure.
Without a doubt. He'll try to take on contact for the first downs. Like, he is tough as hell and has heart, man. Like, there's no denying that. And that's why I think people fall in love with him. But he is not a comfortable thrower, Trevor, in rhythm. Everything is, I've said this many times because we've talked about him plenty, but I couldn't believe it's still the same from the limited tape we have this year, which I believe was 7 games that we had.
I think so, yeah.
6 games.
7, yeah.
It feels like so many times he's trying to aim the ball, and it elongates the process. It makes the quick game incredibly frustrating because they'll dial up like a little guy in motion in the flat, and you just gotta, what happened?
I said 6 or 7 games that he started.
Oh my God. You're just like, you haven't missed a show.
No. Why would I? I'm loaded up.
It's on me.
I'm on the point streak, baby. I'm the Tampa Bay Lightning.
So the problem is when you can't operate that quick game efficiently and throw, catch, and run, like he'll sail throws in the flat or throws that you just expect him to make. And then something I've always said about him the pre-snap pressure just doesn't always correlate with what he's doing post-snap, why it's so chaotic. He's lost control of the football from a fumbles perspective a lot over the last 3 years, and he's been hit a lot too, which is part of the Penn State offense and part of his process. I think that the one thing that I really struggle with is against the best opponents they play, he has not played his best football almost ever. It's just, he's one of those guys that he is just not a comfortable thrower consistently. And maybe he can develop in the right situation because he is physically gifted. But we've now had 2.5 seasons, counting this year, of him having the opportunity to look different. And while it got gradually better, it was never enough for me to look at him as a top quarterback prospect before the injury.
Yeah, which the injury was fractured ankle, I
Right.
believe, is the injury that he had officially. Hockey could be a lower leg injury. Who knows? Could have amputated his leg if he was a hockey player.
Just lower body.
You wouldn't know.
Sprained toe, leg amputated.
Yeah.
Kneecap fell out.
Guy's heart could have stopped beating, and they'd be like, yeah, upper body injury.
Upper body.
Yeah, he's week to week.
Long-term IR.
I was excited about Drew Allar going into this season because of exactly what you talked about, how it had been a little bit of a journey for him. But as a junior in 2024, he actually looked like he was taking steps in the right direction. Now, was it against the better teams that he faced in 2024? No, his best stuff was still against competition that you go, okay, you should be beating these guys and you should be looking good. But he was looking good. And I thought that we were on the right direction. I thought this year was going to be, if it was another step for him, I think we would be talking about him as a first-round quarterback. The issue is that not only was it not what it was in 2024, but Connor, I feel like it regressed.
I think so too.
I feel like the pressure that he was under to become that first-round quarterback, I'm watching, I can't remember if it was like the UCLA game or it was the Oregon game.
There was a weird one. Like a game that from a scouting perspective, you're like, I'm not going to probably highlight that game out of my first 3 that I'm going to watch. Let me look real quick.
I watched the Nevada game, the Oregon game, and the UCLA game. Those are the 3 that I watched from him from this year. And then I watched
Villanova.
I didn't watch the Nova game,
just to watch him as a thrower. I would never.
That was his worst passing grade, though.
I would never tip. That's why I watch it. Sometimes I'll do a high-low. You know what I mean? I'll watch.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I do that all
I know
the time.
you love to do this too. I'll watch the highest graded game, the lowest graded game, and then I'll just work through the middle the rest of the process.
Yep.
Because it's like, it's an interesting way to start. I'm like, why am I watching him against Villanova?
Right. And there were so many throws that he just didn't attempt. There were a couple of throws where, this is one example. I can't remember if it was against UCLA or if it was against Oregon. He's got a swing pass to, I believe it's Nick Singleton, who, good receiver, athletic dude, you want him in space. And he's got 2 wide receivers on the outside. Both of those wide receivers are in perfect position to block up the defenders in front of them, and Nick Singleton's got at least a 10-yard gain, maybe more. And he just looks at Singleton, and he just doesn't throw it. And I'm like, that's an NFL play. You have to take that. You've got to be able to take something like that. And I feel like he's just, this year specifically, he was just thinking too much. You mentioned it's like he's trying to force passes. He's not this natural thrower. One, I think his footwork's an absolute mess. There's no muscle memory there. Every throw seems to look different. His front foot is often wide and sort of like presenting like his hips as open. And because of that, the accuracy and the true ball placement just isn't there for him. And then when he's on the run, I mean, they're all over the place, man. So that's the best way for me to describe Drew Allar, who is built like an NFL quarterback, has the arm talent of an NFL quarterback, but he is skittish when he sees open throws. He was way too gun-shy this season. His big-time throw rate was better than the turnover-worthy play rate, which is good, and the turnover-worthy play rate went down, but so did the big-time throw rate. So I don't even know how much credit to give you if you're just dialing everything down. Naturally, you're going to have less turnover-worthy plays if you're just not even throwing the ball the way that you needed to, and that's ultimately how I saw Drew Allar this season. He was scared to throw the ball the way, or scared's a tough word. He was gun shy and hesitant to make the throws that you need to make, even with the arm talent that he has. So inconsistent lower body fundamentals, inconsistent confidence when he's seeing the field deep down the field. I mean, Drew Allar's passing grade on throws of 20 or more yards was like a 61 this year. Buddy, you're Drew Allar. It's got to be way better than that. That's your whole game. You got an NFL arm. You got to be able to rip it. And he just wouldn't do that. So I agree with you. I think that, going back to the super chat, long distance super chat, he has to sit. There's not going to be a situation where Drew Allar gets drafted high enough to where he's going to start week 1 in the NFL. It's just a matter of how long he's going to sit. Does he get the right quarterback coaching? And can somebody get some confidence in him? And 2, can we clean up those lower body fundamentals? Because those 2 things are paramount if he's going to have success in the NFL.
Yeah, without a doubt. He's a big, physically gifted, as somebody said, Drew physically gifted Allar, physically gifted quarterback that plays a brand of football that just doesn't match that, besides when he has to run and make a play.
Yeah.
It's strange. And part of that is on Penn State's offense over the years, but there's no denying that at this point, some of it is also just individually evaluated in a vacuum him.
Yeah. Is the nickname PG-15? Physically gifted 15?
It might work.
Could work. Maybe he'll switch his name or his number to 13 in the NFL. We'll get lucky, and that could be the nickname right
then
there.
It's just flawless.
PG-13, yeah, then it's right there for you. Okay, before we do Cade Klubnik, because I've got him at 4 and you've got him at 8, which I think brings up a really interesting conversation of how we see this player versus the rest of the class. But just talking to everybody out there, if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you doing? Come on, hang out with us. Become a part of the Addicts. We're doing this every single Monday and Wednesday. My goodness, we're going to have so much Shrine Bowl and Senior Bowl content for you guys, covering all the biggest plays, all the impactful analysis, where we think these guys are up and down with their stock in the Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl over the next week and a half. And the only way that you can be sure that you get all of that is if you subscribe. If you've enjoyed any of the content that we have done, it is an easy, free way to support the channel. We would love for you guys to become part of the Addicts, the Draft Addicts here, and join us every single episode because we have a good time here. So let's get to Cade Klubnik. I got him at 4. You have him at 8. I think I'm prioritizing the floor here with Cade Klubnik, who I do think sees the game at a decently high level. I think that he's got, for the most part, good ball security. I think that he's a really nice touch passer, very natural, tough touch passer. He's got an adequate NFL arm, even though he's a little bit smaller. He's about 6'1.5", 205 pounds were the official measurements that he had before the season. I think he's a decent athlete. He can keep you honest with some RPOs, some keepers, pick up first downs with his legs. He's got some pretty nice intermediate, middle of the field type of throws, those touch and those layered throws versus zone. Ultimately, I do think he's undersized. I think that shows up in his lack of arm strength. I think he has the lack of arm talent to really rip it versus too high coverages. Any sort of too high shell, I just don't think that he was willing to attack deep down the field unless it was a hole shot in between cover 2 at the sideline. He really wasn't looking to attack deep down the field anytime there were too high coverage looks, because I think that he knows that he's got to put a little bit more air under those passes, and so he just really doesn't look that direction, which if you're a quarterback that's that limited, it's tough to unlock the full passing offense for you at the NFL level. He cuts the follow through short a little bit, so I think the passes sometimes sail on him. He doesn't bring the arm fully down. He's just kind of up here and a little bit like Quinn Ewers, not totally like Quinn Ewers, but you know how Quinn had that like high finish to him. I think that that's why you see some of the balls sail on him when he's going towards the sideline. I don't think he's the most comfortable passer on the run. I think his lower body mechanics sometimes fail him in that regard, but I do think that Cade Klubnik could at least be a backup in the NFL for the next 8-10 years. And as sad as it is in this class, that's QB4 to me, because I just think he plays a high IQ brand of football, at least for the most part. He struggles to read safeties like I was mentioning, but I could at least see him sticking around in the NFL for a while, even though it's not as a starter. And that was unfortunately QB4 for me.
Yeah, it goes to show where we're at. The one thing with Klubnik that, because once again, there were things that were not great around him this year, pass catchers dropping 20 of his throws. He was under pressure almost 34% of the time. Trevor, when he gets off his first read, the pocket for him just starts to look like a fun house of like mirrors. Like he's just running around and everything in front of him is showing him a different, like it's crazy. It's drift backwards. It's raw. And he's a good athlete, but he's not the kind of athlete that is constantly, as he's drifting and rolling, getting away from somebody trying to keep contained. Sometimes, but not all the time. And then his mechanics, as you alluded to, the throwing on the move or off platform, like when they start to fall apart after going off that first read, there's just some ugly throws on tape. Really ugly. When you just don't have any kind of feel in the pocket and you start to drift and throw off your back foot, I'm sure coaching is going to drill this into him, but there's so many examples of tape this year that I didn't see a lot of this the previous year. Some, but not a ton. Like step up, climb the pocket. You don't always have to drift and roll. He just developed bad habits this year. And it's the erratic nature of his game is just an impossible way to succeed in the NFL. And then going back to once again what you said, when his base starts to go up from under him, he misses short area throws. It's not like some guys can just almost trick shot short throws. They don't even have their feet under them because they're just so natural.
Right.
Some guys like him and Allar, when their mechanics get messed up on short throws, you don't know where the hell the ball's going.
That's the problem, is that like clean pocket grade, he had an elite passing grade, 90.7 in a clean pocket. When he can set his feet and when he could go through what is the expected throwing fundamentals from your toes all the way to your follow through, it looks pretty. I mean, he is the passes that he has, I think are picture perfect sometimes. The issue is that anytime it goes awry, I think sometimes he can perform well under pressure, but man, the worst moments from him are backbreaking. They're like total panic moments. And I thought that was something that was in his tape in 2024, and it's still there in 2025. I mean, there are people talking about Cade Klubnik as the number 1 overall pick when we were talking about him during the summer. And you and I were lower on him than I think a lot of other people were.
We didn't have him there, but we liked him better than this.
Well, again, it's because it goes back to evaluating a guy during summer scouting is so different than evaluating them now. Because in summer scouting, you know you have a full year upcoming from this player to improve upon the weaknesses that they have showed normally in their underclassmen tape up to that point. Now we have to look at Klubnik as, okay, what you are has now been 2 years in a row kind of as the same thing, and you're heading into the NFL, which is not, we've said this before, not a great developmental league. So I think when it's clean for him, it looks pretty good. I think if he's in an ideal circumstance, he could be a preferred backup and maybe somebody that could come in and win some games for you. But overall, I just think that the out-of-structure stuff is tough for him. And whenever it gets away from an ideal situation, you start getting real nervous. And then, like I said, not exactly having the arm strength to really threaten any sort of too high coverages, it's a tough ceiling sell for me. But again, like that's... it's QB4 for me in this class. So he might go in the 5th round, and I think that might be the 4th quarterback off of the board, to be honest with you.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Especially if Trinidad goes to war.
Somebody earlier said, wait a second, Trinidad and Carson Beck are too old to get drafted in the military, but they're not old enough to get drafted here in the 2026 NFL draft.
Good deal if you can get it.
It's a great deal.
Still make NIL?
Right.
Yeah.
Who else do we have on this list?
Doc.
Oh, yeah. Talk to me about Sawyer Robertson from Baylor, who I did not have in my top 8. I had him, I think he was 10 for me.
Yeah, another Senior Bowl quarterback. A guy whose game really didn't change from when we talked about him over summer. I mean, it's not surprising. His numbers are pretty similar. Like in the Baylor offense, you're still going to have big-time passing production, but obviously, you and I are evaluating more than that. You see it right there, like 6'4", 220. He's got an NFL body. He's got enough arm as an NFL passer for sure. He can hit some tight window throws. Honestly, when he's at his absolute best, he plays similar to Tyler Shuck Like, that's what he plays like when he's at his best. Now, he is not even close to the caliber prospect as Tyler Shuck. And that's because, man, he'll make one throw where, and this goes back to him having 25 big-time throws and 20 turnover-worthy plays. He'll make one throw, like a hole shot throw, or a tight window, middle of the field throw where you're like, damn. Like, he felt good on that one. He saw it, and he could throw the fastball or he could throw the off-speed pitch in the bucket. But then he'll have 2 or 3 where he doesn't see sitting linebackers or roaming safeties over the top, or he just misses. Like, there's just so many times where he just inexplicably airmails the ball to the sideline. His biggest issue, though, right now, there's just predetermined throws on tape still from 2024 that carried in 2025. Like, just, this is a delayed screen. I'm waiting for it. Okay, now I'm throwing it. Well, the defender was had his eyes on you the entire time. Or there's a safety over the top. Well, my guy got over the top of the corner. Yeah, well, the corner was letting him over the top. And I'm throwing it. Like, there's just so many predetermined throws. And maybe some of that is the offense. But I like the Johnny Silverhand. Inexplicably. Yeah, that wasn't my best moment. I own it. Professional speaker that can't speak.
That's all we can do.
No, but yeah, Trev, he's just, it's going to be funny watching him in the Mobile environment because I'll say it right now. He'll have a throw or two that gets clipped out and gets 1,000 retweets, and everybody's like, damn, this dude's got an arm and like can make plays. But the consistency drive by drive and the turnover rate of like gimme turnovers has just been pretty problematic. You see, he doesn't take a lot of sacks. Like, he's a solid player, but just the decision making has just not gone the right way.
It's another one of those examples that we've talked about here on the show where you go best 5 throws in the class, and Sawyer Robertson would be up there with some of the top guys around the top
Keon
5.
Coleman.
Yeah, the problem
It'll forever
is,
be the Keon Coleman. Bad day for that.
Well, I was going to say, who wasn't Brandon Bede's pick, by the way?
He didn't draft him.
Yeah.
The coach he fired wanted him.
Yeah.
Then you have videos of Brandon Bean.
Sure.
4, 5, 7. Now we can get him.
We definitely believe you. Yeah, we definitely believe you. I don't even want to start with that whole thing.
Good content.
Is it?
Man, can't imagine why the Sabres have been so bad for so long, Terry Pagula. Josh Allen is Superman. Anyways, not the show for that.
If I start talking about that, I'm going to go off on it. And so I feel like it's a topic for another day. Sawyer Robertson, the good moments are good. I think that he's got some ability to, I think he's got the ability to rip it in between zone coverages. He just doesn't do it a lot.
No, he absolutely can, but you are right. It's like
most of the time he's like a one-on-one sideline thrower, which is good.
A Michael Trigg merchant?
Kinda, you know? the best throws that I saw from Sawyer Robertson, he's given guys chances one-on-one, which I actually think could play pretty well in the Senior Bowl because you do that a lot.
I agree. And to be fair to Sawyer Robertson, that's how the offense is designed. Like, they're clearly looking, they're hunting those one-on-ones with athletes, and he is coached to because he has enough arm talent to do it. Yeah. Like, just let this guy make a play.
Yeah. Another major problem that I have with him is I think his lower body fundamentals are horrible. He was a pitcher. Let me make sure I get this right.
This is to the misses.
He was a pitcher coming out of high school. He's a 4-star quarterback, but he played football and baseball in high school. And his father was actually a first-round pick of the Expos in the 1990 MLB draft. Funny enough, which is also topical, his cousin is Jarrett Stidham.
That's right.
Starting
big game for Jarrett Stidham this weekend.
Big week for the family. Jarrett Stidham starts on Sunday. Sawyer Robertson at the Senior Bowl in a couple of days after that.
It's going to be a fascinating President's Weekend at their house.
He has. Wait, is it President's Day this weekend?
No, but after President's Weekend is after the Super Bowl.
Oh, I see.
It's the next holiday, right? Did I miss one?
I don't know. I can't keep up. I let Google tell me what the holidays are. I don't know. Can't keep up anymore.
I don't think they're all getting together for Valentine's Day.
Oh, maybe they are.
Maybe they are. It's their thing.
So lower body mechanics, I think, are terrible from him. He has a wide leg kick that totally changes how and when the ball is leaving his hand.
Yeah.
He also does the Jordan Love thing where he just fades away from so many passes.
Loves it. Loves it.
Brother, there's one quarterback I'm okay with doing that.
And even sometimes then we're like,
right.
I don't know, Jim.
And it's just Jordan Love.
Yes.
All of that goes into the fact that he had a 27.5% uncatchable, inaccurate pass percentage over the last 2 years, which was the highest number I could find of any of the draft-eligible quarterbacks in this draft. He is, again, the best 5 throws from him, great. Taking chances one-on-one down the field, fearless against man coverage. Sometimes he's ripping it between zone coverages. But the in-between stuff, he's way too erratic for me right now. And at this point in time, you are going to have to completely overhaul his entire throwing fundamentals if you want to fix that. And I just don't know if that's ever going to happen at the NFL level. So, got the arm talent. I understand why you got him in here for the top 8, just because, like I said at the beginning of the show, some of our rankings will be searching for ceiling. Some of them it'll be searching for floor. And you're betting on just like the overall size, the arm talent. But he was way too inconsistent for me to make my top 8.
Yep. What else do we have in this group?
We had Luke Altmyer. I had Luke Altmyer in here.
Yeah, and he would have been 9 for me.
Yeah, really quickly on Luke Altmyer, or GOATmyer, as Wub often says in the super chats for us. You talk about a guy.
Somebody left a comment saying, I think call him Oscar Meyer because he's a hot dog. It should have been call him Luke Oscar Meyer because he's got that dog in him. Because he's a dog. Oh, there you go. Yeah, because there's
that dude's a dog.
Colin.
No. All right,
there was
Colin
one
nailed
way
Colin
earlier.
nailed it. Colin nailed it.
Yes, there you go, Colin. Thank you for steering this ship.
So he's about 6'1", 215 pounds. Not really built like a typical NFL quarterback, but I think Luke Altmyer handles the game very well. I think he's got
point guard.
He is a total point guard, man. I think he's got consistent accuracy. He's really good with timing routes that are in-breaking routes, specifically those quick slants. He's really good with accuracy there, really good with timing there, has good chemistry with his receivers. He's got good touch passes outside the numbers. He doesn't do it a ton, but he can do it. And when he does it, man, it looks really pretty. He is somebody who I think manages a pocket pretty well. I know you see the sack percentage there, the sack rate of 7.3, and it's only 12th percentile, but a lot of that stems from the fact that he's just not a great athlete. When it comes to the overall pocket management, he'll stand tall in a pocket if there's no pressure around. More than almost any other quarterback that I watched. You get these guys that once you get to like 2.5 seconds, they're bailing. They're out. Doesn't matter if the pocket is clean or not. They're out. They're moving. They get antsy. He doesn't. He'll sit in there and he'll continue to scan the field. He'll go through his progressions. He'll read the defense the way that he needs to. I just think he plays the game with such a high football IQ. I thought he's not a great athlete, so he's not great out of structure, but I think he had a pretty high completion percentage out of structure. What was the scramble? Adjusted completion percentage on scramble plays was 68.5. That is one of the higher numbers that you will see on scramble plays. I just feel as though he plays a very clean brand of football. And I could see Luke Altmyer being somebody who, like I talked about with Klubnik, sticks around the NFL a long time, preferred backup, and if you need him to start him in a pinch, if your starting quarterback has a high ankle sprain and he's out 3 weeks or something like that, he could come in and he could win you 2 out of 3 games. You know, it's not like it's a total foregone conclusion that we're losing these games if you got Altmyer. I just really liked and appreciated the way that he played the game. If he was a little bit more physically gifted, if he was a little bit bigger, if he was a little bit faster, the way that he plays the game, we'd be talking about a top 100 pick. Don't think he gets picked in the top 100, but even as he is, I think he can stick around in the NFL.
Yeah, this is the day 3 Kyle Shanahan backup quarterback pick.
Sure, yes.
This is exactly what he is, because you look at what he struggled with in college. He took 30 sacks in 2024, 18th percentile. He took 31 sacks in 2025, 16th percentile. Those are examples of him at the college level having to try to make a play.
Mhm.
But in an NFL offense that is as structured as, and I use Shanahan as a placeholder, that is told exactly what to do in each situation, and you're not asked to play off script, he'll be fine as a backup, like you just said. He's boring. He's not going to wow you in any kind of way. He's not going to uplift a situation, but can he take the wheel here or there? And ironically, it's funny. You had him at 7. I have him at 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a world where if GOATmyer was one of 3 quarterbacks left in this class 8 years from now or whatever, you'd be like, yeah, I kind of get how that happened.
Right. That's how I see him. That's how I wrote his scouting report. 100%. Peter says the 49ers should draft Luke GOATmyer to back up Purdy, just like the Ravens kind of have had Tyler Huntley back up Lamar Jackson, similar roles there.
Which they took Curtis Rourke last year. So if you trade Mac Jones and then you have a quarterback room of Purdy, Rourke, and GOATmyer, like, would anyone be shocked?
No. Lucrative says trade Mac Jones to the Jets. I don't know about to the Jets, but you could just trade Mac Jones and then draft this kid.
Yeah, Mac will have a market that they can get something back for him.
And then Wacky says he's the Jimmy G of Mike White's. Sure. Sure.
That's actually like,
sure.
I get it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we get it. Yeah, unfortunately.
I hate that I get it.
Did you have somebody else that we haven't hit yet in your 4 through 8?
I don't think so, because I had Trinidad. You had Nuss.
Yes. Okay. So we will get to Trinidad and to Nuss in a second. But first, our game plan of the week presented by Western and Southern Financial Group. A game plan for your financial future, guys. My game plan of the week, as it is Shrine and Senior Bowl week, my game plan of the week is whatever offensive linemen need to do to not get put on a highlight reel against Ruben Bain one-on-one. Now that Ruben Bain is going to the Senior Bowl, that's the game plan of the week. Do whatever you need to do. Don't hurt the man, but, you got to slide tackle him. You got to hold him. Do whatever you can. Survive. Because Ruben Bain's going to put you on a highlight film if you don't. So that whatever game plan that is, that's my game plan of the week. Just like every team win starts with a great game plan, your future should as well. With life insurance built like a championship roster, Western and Southern helps protect you and your family so you can focus on winning today knowing that tomorrow is covered. Whether you're just starting out building your dynasty or looking to lock in long-term protection, their coverage options are designed to match your game plan. Visit westernsouthern.com/PFF to get your free life quote and start building your financial game plan today. Western and Southern, built to win, backed by over 130 years of helping people protect what matters most. All right, let us reveal your 1 to 3.
All right, so Garrett Nussmeier at 3.
I was wondering if you get spicy and have it too.
The Nuss Bus.
I was wondering how spicy you'd get.
Still,
you know how when you're ordering Indian food and you're trying to decide your fate? Yeah, they go, oh, what do you want? 1 through 10. Go ahead and decide.
Bad take of mine. Not an Indian food guy.
Ah, man.
Yeah, it's like basically one of the only things that I don't actively like. If people like really, really look forward to it, it just doesn't move the needle for me. I'm sorry. I know.
I think Indian food is a top 3 cuisine, might be one.
No, I get people love it. I'm admitting I'm wrong.
It's tough.
I wasn't born with the palate for it.
I love it. And my wife, not a fan.
Yeah, well,
it's her only flaw. It's her only flaw.
Wow,
everything else is just picture perfect in every single week.
The chat has never been more like 50-50. Like, I'm the worst human alive or I absolute W.
Whoa, come.
Yeah, there's more W's than I expected.
Mike says top 3 is crazy. Mike, the flavor profile that you get with Indian food is
top 3.
is it's unlike any other cuisine. It's unlike any other cuisine.
I think Mike's right.
Peter says, so just chicken tikka masala. Listen, you get a little lamb biryani in there as well.
Do not fall for Trev's propaganda.
Little spicy vindaloo, although, gotta take it easy on that.
Yeah.
I think Indian food's phenomenal. Favorite, what is my favorite dish?
Said it was a bad take. See, Thai food, I think, far better. I agree. I love Thai food. Loving life in Alaska.
I also
Thai
love
food's great.
I also love Thai food. I think Indian food's better. Favorite dish. I mean, look at me.
Hands washed.
Well, yes. It's chicken tikka masala is my favorite dish, but I order other dishes. But hey, I am who I am.
Chat's cooking. A lot of love for Korean food. Also agree. Once again, like, this isn't me being uncultured. I eat everything.
I don't know if I've had Korean food.
You've had Korean barbecue,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But is that...
Well, no, it's not. But like, you've had a subsection of Korean food.
Right.
Yes.
Right. What is... What did Peter say?
This is the best the chat's been in a while.
Peter says favorite food's Dove's hand soap. Watch yourself, Peter. Watch yourself.
The Nuss Bus? I don't think anyone's shocked. Fernando Mendoza at 1, Ty Simpson
hold on.
at 2.
What's Korean food? Now, like, what's a Korean dish? Somebody in the chat, let me know.
Yeah, I'd like to see some examples.
I'm going to seek this out. Polish food's elite. Hell yeah, baby. I got a little Polish in me. Little pierogies, little kielbasa.
Oh, man. Homemade pierogies are with kielbasa.
Elite.
That's up there. Also better than Indian food. Oh, kimchi. Yeah.
Don't make me go against my heritage like that. Don't make me have to say out loud that I like Indian food more than Polish food. Don't make me say that.
I feel better about my take now after everybody spoke on their favorite foods.
A little halushki? See that in the chat? All right, anyways. Speaking of Korean barbecue, Garrett Nussmeier. Yeah, I have Trinidad. By the way, I have Trinidad at 3. I have Ty Simpson at 2, and then I got Fernando Mendoza at 1. But let's talk about Garrett Nussmeier first, because you got him at 3.
The Nuss Bus, man. I'm just struggling to quit him. Honestly, even after how bad this year was, it actually wasn't as bad as I remembered. Like, while watching the games each week, I'm like, what the hell's going on in LSU? And why is Nussmeier playing like this? And then when you look at the bird's eye view, you watch the games back on the coach's tape, you understand for whatever reason he's playing through an abdominal injury, which is just absurd for a quarterback.
Well, I mean, he came back, so I'm sure he was, because what do you think? He was a second-round pick, maybe even a first-round pick if he declares last year?
Yeah, he probably would have went right where Shuck went. Last year or earlier, honestly.
Right. So that's why it's like, okay, well, you come back for that. You have an abdominal tear. He probably wasn't going to be like, all right, well, I'm just going to call it quits. He's probably pissed, to be honest with you, that he had that injury. So
that he put his fate in Brian Kelly's hands. Yeah.
It's a tough move. It's a tough move there.
I still like Garrett Nussmeier, man. The concerns to get them out of the way. He's about 6 feet and 5. He's like a hair under 6'1". I don't know what he's going to bulk up to. The sheet I have, he has 9-inch hands. So, like, he's smaller. He's not a big quarterback for a guy that is also not a mobile quarterback. So that, like, right up as a pro prospect, you're a little up against it right away when you're a smaller quarterback that's not a running quarterback.
Yeah, and I think the official measurements for him are just under 6'1".
Yeah, 6 5/8.
Yes, yeah.
It goes back to not having a lot of foot speed. And just, but other than that, man, he plays, it's funny, it's shocking, son of an NFL offensive coordinator. He plays the position really, really well. He does a lot of great things. He hangs in the pocket. He can reset the pocket. He understands where the ball needs to go to the sticks. There's high-level throws of him being able to push the ball and even take chances. I mean, you see the sack rate, 86th percentile, doesn't take a lot of sacks. He knows before the snap typically how much time he has. He's somebody to me that it's impressive watching him work a concept on one side of the field and being able to then work to the middle or the back side of the play. Like, there's just not a lot of college processors that can consistently play that way. I think his processing speed and his IQ is in a really, really good place for a college player. he'll hang in. He'll understand exactly how much time he has, and he knows he's going to get clobbered. And as long as he's going to try to make the throw. I forget what game it was. It would have been the tying drive. I'll pull it up in a second, where he did exactly that. He hung in, made the throw, and the receiver just dropped it on a 4th down. I need to look that up, which one it was. And I was like, man, like you look at the results of the game and you're disappointed, but then you actually watch the game and you're like, he gives him a chance. It's another guy that like the situation was just really, really ugly this year and he couldn't overcome it. He's not that different. Here's the thing. The strides that Allar and Klubnik started to make in 2024, they regressed in so many ways this year in their own way to me.
Yeah.
Nussmeier, the strides he made in 2024 didn't have the same regression this year. He was hurt and it was a disaster around them. It wasn't perfect. He had mistakes of his own.
Yeah.
But it like I was looking at him like, no, he's kind of what I thought he was this summer still. But you have to dock him a couple points that he's not a big quarterback that was an injured quarterback that doesn't escape and hangs in and gets hit. Like, how is that going to play at the next level? But I still like Garrett Nussmeier, and I think he's one of the rare quarterbacks we're talking about today that can start in the NFL in the right situation. You just can't say that about a lot of guys on this list. To me, he's going on day 2. He might go in the top 50 after all this.
I do agree with you. By the way, Bork in the chat saying 9 inches is small. We're so cooked, chat. When I look at Nussmeier, I have him at 5, but I have him at 5. I'm worried about how he plays the game because he is a small gunslinger. We don't have many of those.
No.
You got Baker Mayfield.
Baker, yeah.
But here's the problem. Baker stunk this year. And
was hurt.
I think it goes into it, but I think Baker was also just he's a smaller quarterback that tries to play this gunslinging style. And when it looks great, it's great. Nussmeier is basically hoping that he becomes Baker Mayfield, to be honest with you. But I thought Baker had a much better arm and has much more arm talent than Garrett Nussmeier does. So
Baker has a bigger arm.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what worries me about him. I agree with you completely. Him being Doug Nussmeier's son, him growing up around the game, he understands progressions. He understands route concepts. He understands what the defense is trying to do. He's not afraid to throw it over the middle of the field. Although I will say there's a handful of throws that I watched from him, even like this year, where independent of him being hurt, like he didn't see a player over the middle of the field because he's smaller and he couldn't see over the offensive line, and you could tell like he just didn't know where a defender was, which is obviously an issue. He had 9 turnover-worthy plays over the middle of the field over the last 2 years, which was a lot. He's just one of those players that I have my reservations about because he's trying to play a style of quarterbacking that is very difficult to do unless you have at least a tier 2 arm, like a tier 1 or tier 2 arm. And I don't think he's going to have a tier 1 or tier 2 arm for the NFL. Certainly not a tier 1. I don't even think he has a tier 2 arm for the NFL. But going back to what you said, of these quarterbacks that we are listing, if I had to name one that we have already named that you would say like, hey, which one do you think has the best chance to be a starter at the NFL level? It's Nussmeier. I think it's Nuss.
Also, not to cut you off, Trev, because I see a lot of this in the chat, but Love and Life in Alaska, this is the one example of it, said if they say he's 6'1", he's probably sub 6 feet when he gets measured. The measurements Trevor and I are saying are when he was measured in the spring.
Yeah, right.
I want to be clear, like there's guys that we don't know, Trinidad Chambliss, Diego Pavia. Garrett Nussmeier was measured about 6 feet tall, 5'8", like a hair under 6'1".
I think we have Pavia's.
Oh, we do have Pavia.
Yeah, Pavia's official was like 5'9" and 3/4, by the way. And which I also, you brought up Pavia. Hilariously, when we revealed our top 3s, somebody in the chat, I can't remember who it is, was like, wow, no Diego Pavia, as if we would have him on the top 3 of the list that we were waiting to. Brother, look. I wish Diego Pavia was 6'4". Hell, I wish Diego Pavia was 6'2". If you gave me 6'2" for Diego Pavia, I'd be like, yeah, I'm in. Great. Maybe QB3 in this class.
Was it over summer? You were like, hey, he might be a fullback at the next level.
I think, he's a dog, dude.
It might happen.
I genuinely think
Tebow
he could
done.
be a utility player at the NFL level because of how much of a dog he is. But at 5'9" and 3/4, he's the same way as Nussmeier, except worse. Like there were plays where he's throwing over the middle of the field, and I'm like, you don't even see that defender. You can't even see him over the offensive line. So that's just a thing that you got to think about. So
I like the Nuss bus. I do.
You do. You're higher on him.
It might get me in trouble, but I still see it.
Hey, if you're searching for starters in this class, he's exactly where you have him, probably. If you're searching for guys that you just want to have, if you're hitting singles, if you just want a guy who's going to be a backup for you that's got a high floor, he's probably not going to be for everybody. So, Trinidad Chambliss, I think, is also, yes, go ahead.
Boss Girl 8. Jets can draft Chambliss early and Pavia late. Stack them on top of each other. You have one good NFL quarterback.
Yeah. What's the book? What is that? Well, I guess it's not I was thinking of the Freak the Mighty book where it was just like a smart dude on top of a giant dude's shoulders, but it's not quite that. It's more of the two small dudes in a giant trench coat kind of a thing playing quarterback for the Jets. It could work out. Poppy's got strong legs.
Let's give it a shot.
Strong core. He won a wrestling state title, I think. He could do it. Trinidad Chambliss, redshirt senior from Ole Miss. Listed measurements, 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. Probably not. He was a 0-star quarterback from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Also got recruiting interest in baseball. Committed to Ferris State, which is a D2 school at a college. Only played in 2 games his first year. Got 1 start the following year. Started all 15 games and won a D2 national championship in 2024. And then he transferred to Ole Miss in 2025. He was going to be Austin Simmons' backup. And then he ended up getting in the starting lineup early in the season, and he never let that job go. And the reason why, Connor, is because this dude is fun as hell. I get it. He is not built like an NFL quarterback, but there are so many moments where he reminds me of Russell Wilson. He doesn't have the same moon ball that Russell Wilson does, but he can attack deep down the field, and for his stature, how he is built, how he plays outside of structure, how he can operate RPO and play action, the thrower that he is on the run, I mean, I think that he is pretty good. He is pretty dang good. The ball velocity on those intermediate and short routes are pretty good despite his shorter size. I think he's a true RPO point guard type of a player where the defense, if you get them to hesitate just a little bit, he can get the ball out really quickly, or he could take off with his legs. I think he's a great escape artist in the pocket. Anytime that you pressure him, he can get out. And I think that he's a natural thrower on the run. A lot of these guys that we talked about, Klubnik, certainly Carson Beck, but like even GOATmyer, Drew Allar, like a lot of these guys who get out of the pocket, they don't look nearly as comfortable throwing on the run. Trinidad Chambliss makes it look smooth as butter when he is throwing on the run and outside of the pocket when he is scrambling. Loves to give his receivers a chance one-on-one versus man coverage on the outside. I really appreciate about that with his mentality and who he is as a touch passer. I think he's got good natural touch on those back shoulder throws, even though he's not rifling them in there as fast as some of these other guys. He's small, I will say, but he doesn't look like he's frail type of a small. He's just a smaller type of a quarterback. Sometimes he's got to swing his leg out and put his full body into passes when he's really ramping up the speed that he has on the ball. Deep passes take a little bit longer to reach their target just naturally, but I had a lot of fun watching this guy's tape, and I think there's obvious reasons that we'll talk about here in a second with Fernando Mendoza and Ty Simpson of why you would take those two guys ahead of him, but if I'm taking the next guy in this class, give me the player that knows how to play out of structure. That's a true natural of a quarterback. Somebody who has that clutch gene. Somebody who has that ice in his veins. Somebody who knows how to play well when things aren't in ideal circumstances. Because unfortunately, that's most of these quarterbacks. We talk about where they are when they're good. It's basically just in ideal circumstances. And anytime you get basically this entire quarterback class, you get them away from clean pockets and ideal circumstances, they do not play well. Trinidad Chambliss not only plays well, he sometimes thrives in those areas, and yet he's still able to operate from a clean pocket as well. Sack rate was 90th percentile because he never goes down in the backfield. Avoiding negatives was 77th percentile, so he plays pretty smart, doesn't put the ball in harm's way. I was just such a big fan of his. And the type of quarterbacking that he plays. He's a smaller quarterback, but in a class of smaller quarterbacks, this is my favorite amongst the group.
Yeah, I get it. The film is really, really impressive. We don't know, and I did double check because I didn't realize he was on that sheet. Pavia was 5'9 3/4 this spring, so maybe he can get to 5'10 at the combine, whatever it may be. But yeah, I didn't realize we had officials on him on that sheet. We do not have that for Trinidad Chambliss.
Nope.
Who I would guess 5'10 1/4.
Probably. That's what I would guess as well.
Yeah.
By the way, he is going to be older. He'll be 24 years old his rookie season in the NFL.
Yeah, this is someone that he's got plenty of arm for an undersized quarterback. I love how springy his base is when he's working in the pocket. Like he's calm, but he's ready to evade pressure whenever he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a statue. You know what's funny, Trevor? He's smaller and doesn't have the same level of arm. But there's a lot of times where the good he does, he plays like Cam Ward, where he's bouncy and he can kind of dip and he can kind of roll, and then he'll stop and he'll look to like push the ball down the field off script. He'll create for a really, really long time. The same thing as Cam. He drives the ball with confidence on those underneath throws, like slants and digs. He's dropping back and throwing the ball with purpose, like he's repped it hundreds of times. So like an NFL quarterback, he throws touch. He shows touch throwing the ball down the field. He could hit the whole shot between the corner and the safety.
Yep.
He doesn't take a lot of sacks because of the athlete he is, and he has good feel for pressure. You know, you said a lot of it. He's undersized. He'll turn 24 years old before his first NFL season. He had 16 batted passes at the line of scrimmage this year. And that's the world that's the world for a smaller quarterback, but that's a jarring number. It's a jarring number. The intermediate throwing outside the numbers, 12 for 30, 10 to 19 yard range outside the numbers, 12 for 30. It's not the strength of his game all the time. Mm-hmm. And then if you're starting Trinidad Chambliss, like you need to build it where you have those big perimeter targets, because he puts a lot of air under the ball to give those guys a chance.
Yes.
And
he does.
It's not an insult. He knows he has these bigger targets that can win the ball, and he puts air under the ball to let them make a play. If you're an NFL, like if you are drafting him, you better build your team that way, because that's something he's really, really good at, but not every roster is built to do that. So you're going to want to do some of the things that the Broncos did year one with, and still do before he got hurt, with Bo Nix, where like you're rolling him out a lot. You're getting him on the move. You're asking him to play that style of football. But yeah, he's smaller than the both guys I brought up, and both Cam Ward and Bo Nix, who were not big quarterback prospects. They weren't the biggest guys either. And that's going to understandably be the knock on Trinidad if he's ultimately in this draft.
Yeah, he had one of the highest passing grades on those designed rollout type of plays. So I agree with you completely. Get him some big wide receivers that he can take chances with on the outside, give those above the rim type of opportunities too, and let him be a rollout type of a quarterback. Somebody in the chat was saying Kyler Murray Jr. You know, it's funny because I think his play style can be close to what Kyler Murray is, but I don't think he has the arm that Kyler Murray has. And that's sort of the same way that we talked about Baker Mayfield and Garrett Nussmeier. Like, these are like, the playing style is there, but you don't quite have the same arm strength, which matters a lot towards their future success. You don't want to be lacking in the arm strength and the arm talent areas. And so I think the play style is close-ish to what we've kind of seen from Kyler Murray, but I don't think that Chambliss has the arm talent that Kyler Murray had when he got drafted number 1 overall.
Right. One thing that'll help Trinidad, and I think I've said this on the show, but one thing that'll help him during the process is, like, talking to somebody at that program, just everybody loves Trinidad Chambliss. He is all the way in, team guy, leader, tough, like all about football. It's like he's got all those intangibles that if you're evaluating a quarterback that's an outlier, which he is because of his size, you need to check literally every other box. And credit to Trinidad Chambliss, it faced adversity, not a big-time recruit, has bounced around, has now won at multiple levels. Like, he's going to need to check those boxes to not be a day 3 afterthought. And and in my opinion, he does.
I do too. I like him. I think he's QB3 in this class. There was news that came out today that there is optimism from Ole Miss that he somehow, some way might actually win his case to go back to college football for another year.
Dude, I'm surprised by nothing in this era. Isn't Joey Aguilar doing the same thing?
Yeah, I don't know why he would do that. If Trinidad Chambliss dreams of playing in the NFL at all whatsoever, I have no idea why he would go back to school.
I mean, maybe he was told a differing opinion from how you and I view him.
I mean, sure, but
I don't know.
But like in this class,
I get it.
How much further can you drop him in this class? Because
yeah,
before the year, he wasn't getting drafted, right? He was a nobody. He was a UDFA.
He wasn't a starter on his own team.
But that's what I'm saying. Before the year, he had no NFL expectations at all whatsoever. Then you go on this crazy run in the college football playoff. I mean, he's like QB5 at worst. At worst. And in next year's class, when we have all of these other quarterbacks that are going to come out, unless he wins the national championship with Ole Miss, and even then, I think it's outside of, hey man, it's your life, you can do whatever you want to do with it. If he has NFL aspirations at all whatsoever, I would be telling him you have to declare for this class. You got to declare for it, especially with him already being 24 years old this rookie season if he's in the NFL.
Yeah, I was wondering what's the draft slot line for him for it to be worth it. Say he's getting $5 to $6 million in NIL.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because he would have to be drafted decently high, right, in order to eclipse that.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So the 2026 draft, the table of running cash flows by pick on overthecap.com.
Wacky says best dual threat in the class. I think so. Yes. He's my number 1 ranked dual threat quarterback because I have them broken up into pocket quarterbacks and dual threat quarterbacks.
Yeah. So, unless he just really wants to go back to college, you would think that doing the math, like he didn't think he'd go top 45 to 50. I think he would have.
I know.
I think he would have went in the top. It might have been like a close call, but
yeah, Cole's saying honestly, maybe he doesn't care about the NFL. If he doesn't care about the NFL, then of course, like do whatever you want. You're going to get NIL money. It's all good. But if you care about playing in the NFL at all whatsoever, I cannot imagine that his stock is going to be higher versus his peers in a quarterback class than it is going to be right now.
It's probably been overwhelming for him too. Think about him. He was a basketball player that ended up in a bit of a surprising way, ended up playing college football.
Mm-hmm.
No star kind of recruit from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Ends up, like after a while, he sat a while and then won a D2 national championship at Ferris.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, I'm going to go be a backup for Ole Miss. I can't believe that I'm going to be the backup for an SEC team.
Mm-hmm.
And then flash forward a couple months and it's like, brother, you might be a 2nd-round pick or you're going to make $5 million from the NIL. That's a lot to process.
It is pretty wild. It's pretty wild. That's where we are in college football.
Yep.
Okay, Ty Simpson, QB2 for both of us.
That's right.
Talk to me about Ty.
Yeah, Ty Simpson, man, definitely had, speaking of interesting decisions, because he was just a 1-year starter after sitting for 3 at Alabama and had a really good season there, despite this version of Alabama was bizarre to watch. They don't run the ball well. Their offensive line seemed terribly overrated. Ty in a vacuum, his accuracy, can come and go. He'll sail throws. He's not the biggest guy. He's listed 6'2", 210. I want to see if he's actually on this sheet. I don't think.
No, I don't think he was. I think he's around 6'2", 210.
Yeah, 6'1". Not small by any stretch of the means. Just like mediocre size. Took 30 sacks, which is 47th percentile based on his dropbacks. But when you look at what this guy could do, pretty effortless velocity. Like he can make these snappy throws.
Yep. He
will challenge defenders in these tight corridors, man.
Yep.
Relentlessly. I love watching him throw the intermediate middle of the field, Trevor. A couple of quarterbacks ago, you mentioned how that opens up everything for an offense.
Yeah.
This guy was 43 for 60. That's almost 72%. 12.5 yards per attempt, 7 touchdowns, no picks on throws between the numbers in the 10 to 19 yard range.
5 big-time throws, 1 turnover-worthy play, and a 95.4 passing grade on the intermediate middle of the field.
Sizzling.
This is the best middle-of-the-field thrower in the class, no question about it.
Absolutely sizzling. I think he's got some feel and agility in the pocket. He does. He was hit a lot this year, and I think he was hurt through this some of this year as well.
I believe it.
He added 21 first downs with his legs in 2025. A good enough athlete to take off when he needs to. And Alabama pass catchers dropped 30 passes from him. 30. And we all watched the games. There was plenty of those Ryan Williams, like, wow, what is going on here? And I'm not making excuses for Ty Simpson, who missed plenty of throws, especially after October. It felt like from Halloween on, Ty Simpson struggled. He did. He missed throws. He sailed throws. But Ty Simpson does things that coaching staffs are going to buy into. He's a good enough athlete. He's a leader, and he rips throws into tight windows in the middle of the field. And this was in 1 year of starting, which makes his process of having to go back or not go back really convoluted. Like, Ty Simpson could have went back, maybe not to Alabama, but to a different school, had a great year, and then been a top 10 pick. But on the flip side, starting over is tough if it wasn't going to be Alabama.
I agree. Yeah.
And you just said it. Why isn't Trinidad in this class? This class is not good. In my opinion, Trevor, after watching the tape and trying to think how an NFL coaching staff thinks, I think Ty Simpson still might go in the first round.
I think so too. And I think the reason why is because I agree with a lot of the strengths that you already highlighted in his game. And if you want to look at the negatives, I think there are 2 main negatives when it comes to Ty Simpson. The first one is you talked a little bit about the true ball placement and accuracy issues that he had in the second half of the season. When you watch Ty, he's got a little bit of like a high follow through. So it's not like his throw could end more of like the middle of his arm instead of coming all the way through the ball. And the quarterback coaching thing is like you try to put your thumb in the opposite pocket, right? Like that's kind of like fundamentally. Now it's not like you're going to have the ability to do that every time, but when you kind of like come through the ball like that, then it allows you to really drive the ball instead of finishing high, because if it comes out of your hand a little bit high and you do a little bit of like what Tom Brady was talking about on the broadcast the other day of like, if your grip puts too much air onto the ball, then it'll just continue to sail and you miss high. So that to me is correctable. And then the other big issue with his game is how he played under pressure, because he had what was he under pressure grade?
52.2, I think.
I have 53.7, but I might have taken all the no plays out. So if you left the no play filter in, then it's somewhere around like 52, 53 PFF passing grade.
There's a drop off.
Pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is something that gets better the more, or it can get better. It doesn't always get better, but it can get better the more you play. And when he was playing really well against some of the, like easier opponents that he played. Now, certainly Georgia's one of those where I thought that he played well, and obviously that's a big time opponent, but like he played Oklahoma the first time, and Oklahoma was a really tough game for him because Venables was throwing all sorts of shit at him that he had not seen before. And he was not ready for it. But then when they played Oklahoma in the college football playoff, he had like an 81.5 passing grade. He was way better seeing that defense the second time.
And they were in a bad script.
I know.
It was ugly early. I'm like, this is not the script you want to be in against Oklahoma's defense.
So I think that Ty Simpson, whereas he's not the most physically gifted quarterback that comes through as a prospect, I think the arm talent is absolutely there for him to start at the NFL level. I think he understands defenses, progressions, knows how to hang on to the ball, knows great timing of how to get through which player to, okay, now at the beginning I need to be looking at this player, then this player, and then he is a backside dig master. He is one of the only QBs in this class that will not only hang tough in the pocket, but also appropriately gets to backside routes with the appropriate timing to be able to take advantage of that, especially when it's, like sail concepts to the sideline, and then you've got a backside dig with it. Well, okay, if the shallow defender is covered, if the vertical defender is covered, if the intermediate receiver is covered, well, that means that the middle of the field is open, and he immediately turns his eyes and he immediately gets there. So all of these things for him are so impressive of just like quarterbacking, as I always hear Nate Tice from Yahoo Sports say, like advanced level quarterbacking, making protection calls before the snap, which he was doing even at the beginning of the year, throughout the end of the year. Didn't really have any sort of run game to be able to lean on. Dropped passes, let him down, but there's just too many things in his film that translate to the NFL level as a starter. I would love for him to go to a situation where he could sit. We got a super chat saying like, hey, the Rams situation, Ty Simpson going to the Rams, I think could really yield an impactful starting caliber quarterback in year 2 and year 3 of his rookie contract. If he gets to go to the Rams and sit behind Stafford, and I know everybody would be like, okay, well, of course, like that's the best situation for any quarterback. True. But the way that Ty already approaches the game, that's a landing spot where I think that you get a starter for multiple years that you feel really good about if he goes to situations similar to that. So I understand that there are reasons that Ty struggled this year, and some people are going to be a little bit lower on him, but I just think that he does the high-level quarterbacking stuff way too well from this season to not have faith that he could do it in the NFL.
So FFB for real just asked, if someone sits for 3 years to start their college football career, do you have any worries about them sitting right away for a long time and how little football that is being played? It's a good point. Number one, it feels like he's the outlier in that guys don't sit at any program 3 years and wait their turn. They just leave to go play somewhere.
Right.
And he sat at Alabama and waited his turn. It's clear how much Alabama meant to him. But also, there was a lot of positives on his tape from him sitting those 3 years. Like you said, getting the protections right, throwing with anticipation. So, yeah, you do have to ask yourself, like, that's why I didn't understand the Dylan Raiola thing. I don't believe that sitting in college typically works.
No.
I think you need to play in college.
Yeah, you got to play. You got to play in college.
It's already out of Simpson's hands.
For the most part.
This is more of a question of like arguing, should he have gone back to school to play another year of college football? And I get that side of it. I'm not arguing against that. I don't understand somebody that it's in their hands like Raiola choosing to transfer to a place to sit. Mm-hmm. That I don't get.
It worked out for Dante Moore too, so maybe it's just an Oregon thing, right? I mean, he transferred from UCLA to Oregon to sit behind Dylan Gabriel, but also I don't think Dante Moore was ready. I think Raiola's kind of at a point where he would have needed to do that. But
yeah, for a while we thought he could be in the next class. But
right. So you like Simpson? I like Simpson. Yeah. I truly see a starting NFL quarterback in him.
Yeah, you brought up behind Stafford with the Rams. How about Rodgers goes back to the Steelers behind him?
Sure, depending on what direction the Steelers go. Yeah, sure.
That's the right pathway for Ty Simpson.
Yep, I agree. So a lot of things to like about what Simpson's doing.
A man that won't sit a single day.
Not a single day is Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback of the now national champion, undefeated Indiana Hoosiers, the Heisman Trophy winner from this year. And a player who was just a joy to watch, I think, throughout this entire season. Shout out to, I just talked about him before, but like Nate Tice, Corey Kinnan. I know there's a lot of other there's a lot of other guys out there who really liked Fernando Mendoza, had him as QB1 going into the year, but it's really cool to scouting is tough because you're weighing what a guy does well versus what he doesn't. Okay, what's going to translate? What's going to get better? What isn't? Maybe some things are going to get worse. Where's the consistency? Where's the ceiling? There's so many things that go into a player. And those guys, and I know some other people out there did as well, they were able to look at Fernando Mendoza and what he was at Cal, look at the landing spot with him in Indiana, and project him to turn into a really great quarterback as their QB1 going into the season. And obviously he flourished and blossomed into that. And it was really cool to watch the strengths of Fernando Mendoza really shine this year. Shout out to those guys and anybody else who was able to recognize that in the summer and from last year. But talk to me, Connor, about having him QB1. I have him QB1 as well. What you were so impressed from him this year.
We're the strongest glue ever. My favorite Fernando Mendoza quote of all the crazy post-game quotes. That is my number one. What impressed me the most is, obviously, you and I watched him for summer scouting, and we saw the potential, but we weren't out in front saying, like, this guy could be QB1. The growth for Mendoza mentally and rep-wise is incredibly impressive. The thing that, because he had that talent when you watch the Cal film, the thing that I'm more blown away by is how damn tough he is. Truly. Like, the hits he has taken in big games, the opening of the Big Ten championship against Ohio State, the first quarter against Miami, this dude is almost robotically tough. It's like he just is so unfazed by getting punched in the mouth and is so ingrained in his process as a quarterback, like specifically what he needs to do rep by rep as a thrower. He's got a strong arm. He throws with velocity. He throws on time. He's somebody to me that is so articulate in the red zone, understanding the spacing of the defense and how to attack the defense. And I don't think he has good foot speed. It's actually one of my bigger concerns with him. But what he did to make himself a viable rushing threat, not a great mobile runner, but somebody that can pick up yards with his legs, is not just the draw play in the national championship. That was a very smart, timely call, and his passing ability and their run game opened that up. But he understands what concepts are going to give him space to just go pick up free 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 yards. And that his running ability is from his mental aspect of the game. It's not from his physical aspect of the game. Mm-hmm. And I like that he took advantage of that this year. Now, I mean, you see the deep ball, like when he's got a clean pocket to throw the deep ball, it's strong, it's accurate. Some of the throws that he had to Charlie Becker, both on the go ball and the back shoulder. I mean, we'll be talking about Charlie Becker this summer. My God.
He is the best back shoulder thrower in this class for sure, and one of the best college quarterback back shoulder passers that I've seen in a long time.
Right.
The arm talent that he has, the anticipation, the ball placement, it was unreal all year long.
Yeah, it really was. And you could just see how after transferring, he got those reps in with Surratt, Cooper, and Becker over and over again. And the thing for me with Mendoza, like and this is why he gets these comps, Jared Goff, right? When he's given time in a pocket, he could just carve you up. He knows how to read coverages. He has a strong arm. He plays on time. Like when he sees everything in front of him. Where there's still some questions, or maybe it'll be an adjustment at the NFL, is going back to like not having a ton of foot speed. He'll be pressured more. The Raiders' offensive line isn't very good, even if Colton Miller's healthy. Indiana did such a great job with his development by being stubborn with the run game. They just, dude, on a, third down against, they ran the ball at the end of that game, and we're okay not putting the ball on.
Well, that was dumb. That was dumb.
But how many times do you see that they were comfortable not putting the ball in Fernando Mendoza's hands to just win the game? Now, Cignetti made the right bet because Carson Beck was going to screw it up. but it was scary for a little bit.
Yeah, I won't give him the credit for that. I won't.
It was
I
scary.
love Signetti. He's just one of my favorite coaches. Unbelievable year. All this kinds of stuff. I won't give him credit for that.
It was shocking.
There is 0 point to going up 6. Anytime you make a one-score game, you just got to do it down the end, right?
He didn't think Miami's offense could get in the end zone, but it was shocking to not see just put the ball in the Heisman Trophy winner's hands. Because honestly, when Mendoza needed to make a play against Ohio State every time he made the play. Mm-hmm. So I've been so impressed with his trajectory this year, his development. I don't think he's as talented as a lot of number 1 picks, right? He's not Joe Burrow. He's not the talent of Caleb Williams. He plays a completely different brand of football, different brand. I liked Drake May better, and Drake May wasn't even the number 1 pick in his draft. I
agree.
But Mendoza, in the right situation with a run game and protection, will be a professional quarterback that can carve you up as a pocket passer and is smart enough to challenge open areas of the field with his legs when he needs to. And it's clear his work ethic and intelligence is something that teams should buy into, because Indiana bought into it, and look how it worked out for them.
Yeah. I like Mendoza a lot, man. I went into building his full scouting eval and thought that I was going to be actually like lower on him. I thought that I was going to be like, okay, well, I'll probably give this guy like a late first or probably a second round grade, but he's going to go number 1 overall just because, he needs to go number 1 overall. I was actually really impressed with how he played. I think the arm is plenty good. I think it's right in between like good and
I think it's
great,
above average,
to be honest with you. I think that he has long arms, but he still has a snappy release to be able to put some good velocity on it. I mentioned he's the best back shoulder passer in the class. I also think that he's so smart with how he sees coverages and exactly knowing when to get rid of the ball, the players that he's watching, that you're putting in conflict, the timing of things. I think that he knows how to be patient with those progressions as well if he's got to wait a little bit longer. I thought his ball placement was excellent. He had the highest amount of plus accuracy throws of any quarterback in this class, which a plus accuracy throw is either away from coverage or delivered in a manner in which the wide receiver can gain yards after the catch. He had the highest percentage of those in the class. 36.7% of his throws this year were plus accuracy throws. That is really high. That is really high. I don't think the Jared Goff comps fit because I think he's a better athlete. I think he's got more scoot than that. Play style? Yeah, like I hear what you're saying. Like from the pocket Jared Goff, yes. But overall, like there's a reason why they ran a lot of RPOs with him. He's got a lot of scoot now.
I think it'll look different in the NFL. That's my I don't know. That's tough. I don't think his foot speed's very good.
I hope he runs at the combine. Because that would be hilarious.
That would be very funny.
And compete, Mendoza. Come on, compete. But I think that I don't know. I think he's more mobile than he gets credit for. So I think
Did you see people got tricked by a fake tweet saying he was skipping the combine because he had a Wall Street internship?
Yes. I did see that.
I mean, people got played. Not me.
No, of course not, because that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Sorry, guys. Wall Street internship. I'm gonna skip the biggest interview of my life for an internship. All-timer.
His play. This is also why I don't think the Jared Goff comps fit well for him. 75.9 passing grade under pressure. Jared Goff can stink under pressure.
Yeah, but Jared Goff's playing against Myles Garrett.
I know, but
I'm talking about his prospects.
Okay.
We're envisioning Jared Goff against the Eagles, Jalen Carter, Victor Mendoza against them.
I do not think the Jared Goff. I was once on the Mendoza's Jared Goff. I'm not there anymore.
So you think Mendoza will be better than Goff?
I think he can be. Yeah. I mean, Goff has been a prolific passer with McVay and with the Lions.
I think Goff's almost become underrated.
Yeah, a little bit, but like I think Mendoza can absolutely be that, and I think that his ceiling as a player is more. Yes, because I think that he's going to play better under pressure, and I think he's got a little added athleticism to him. Yes.
Okay.
I do think that. I think that there are, and you're not alone. I think there's a lot of people out there that look at Mendoza and go, "Oh, what's the, putting lipstick on a pig, to win the best looking award, right?" Like it's just like you're just trying to make something of this quarterback class. I really do like Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
I think he is a good quarterback prospect. I really do. So, yeah.
All right.
Big
There
fan.
it is. The
A lot of
top
people-
8 quarterbacks.
Yeah, some people are saying Matt Ryan. And he's got more scoot than Matt Ryan, to be honest. But
You know what's funny, though? I did watch some BC Matt Ryan when this came up a couple months ago, and I was like, Matt Ryan was also more athletic than I remember. Guys, like players just change so much, especially when they get to the NFL, and every edge defender runs a 4.55.
Yeah. Yeah. It is different. But again, I got faith in Mendoza. I really liked watching him this year, and I just think that he plays the position super tough, very high football IQ, great anticipation and recognition, and I think he's got a good enough arm to really threaten. I mean, he had the best deep passing grade in all of college football. So he's got the highest amount of he's got the highest amount of plus accuracy throws. So he's got one of the best ball placement. He's fantastic under pressure. He's got the highest passing grades under pressure. And he can throw the deep ball. I think, man, I like Mendoza. I like him. I gave Mendoza a first-round grade.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I was going into this exercise, but he impressed me a lot more than I thought he was going to. And I think that the Raiders, again, just to close it out, I don't think the Raiders are like the first losers in this regard just to pick the best quarterback in a bad class. I think it drops off pretty significantly after Mendoza, but I think Raiders fans should be pretty pumped to get this guy.
Yes.
I think he's going to be good.
He should be a quarterback that an organization is buying into to be their franchise guy.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
they have a lot of work to do, though, man. I'm a little nervous right now.
Oh, sure.
Like watching how Indiana plays versus where they are as an organization right now. They have a lot of work to do, which you could say with any team picking number 1, of course.
When it comes to this quarterback class versus some veteran options, Kyler's going to be available, I think. Tua's going to be available. Maybe you could trade for Mac Jones. You could sign Malik Willis, right? Malik Willis is a free agent. Aaron Rodgers, potentially, right? We don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do.
Minnesota.
What, for Aaron Rodgers?
Feels like he'll check on that one more time.
Yeah, go the full Brett Favre route.
Yep.
Sure, why not? I think that it is Mendoza. You think about Ty Simpson, but then it's basically like a lot of these other veteran quarterbacks are basically QB3 in this class, in my opinion. Is that where you would have the line as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am, and so are you, intrigued by Trinidad.
I am very intrigued by Trinidad.
Not like week 1 starter Trinidad Chambliss.
Right.
But even spark player Trinidad Chambliss.
But even Trinidad, and I think that this maybe is the case with basically everybody other than the Raiders is going to have to look into the veteran quarterback market.
Yep.
Everybody is going to have to, because even Ty Simpson, you're not going to feel good enough about Ty Simpson where you're just going into this draft going, well, we're going to get Ty Simpson.
No.
I don't think that any team is going to do that. So I think that maybe it's better to say that the veteran quarterback market is probably QB2 in this class. And then you have, Nuss, Chambliss, Simpson that are good developmental options for you. But basically after Fernando Mendoza, you're looking at the veteran market as probably the next best thing.
Yep.
There we go. We would love to hear you guys' takes on our takes. Best way to do that, comment section or the NFLSC Discord as well. If you're not in there, we've got a link to join the Discord in the video. We've got over 3,100 people in there. You maniacs, you addicts. We love absolutely every single one of you. It's a lot of fun popping in there and just talking about ball basically 24/7. If you want to hit up the show, at NFLSC Show on basically all social media handles. He's at Connor J. Rogers. I'm at Tampa Bay Trey. You can do the same thing for us as well. Connor. Well, I can't say, well, actually, before I ask you anything else before we get out of here into the after the episode portion of the show. Big week, folks. Shrine Bowl starting on Friday. We got 4 straight days of practice. And then, boom, we're going right into the Senior Bowl right after that. We're going to be locked and loaded all week long. I'm going to be at the Shrine Bowl, so I'm going to get you guys practice footage and updates, and we're going to do plenty of YouTube shorts and things like that. So, again, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already, because you won't want to miss any of that. Connor's going to be joining us. The chef is even going to be in person at the Senior Bowl for
Full
us to
house.
do all sorts of content, covering everything in Mobile as best as we possibly can there as well. So, yeah, buddy, I'm super excited for the next week. It is one of my favorite weeks of the year, Shrine and Senior Bowl.
Me too. Gas up the Jeep Gladiator. Let's
Yeah, baby.
It's going to be an awesome week. Our content schedule, of course, would be a little different. We won't be live Monday at 4:30 because we will literally be on our way to Mobile. So keep that in mind. We hope to do something Wednesday morning.
That's what we're trying. That's
What's our goal right now? Of course, a massive snowstorm is hitting the Northeast Sunday and Monday,
which is great. Yeah,
I can't wait for that. Yeah. I'll be in Mobile at some point. But yes, we are hoping to recap day 1, which is Tuesday, on Wednesday morning. And then as tradition, Trevor and I always do a post-Senior Bowl mock draft when we get home on Friday.
Yes, and so those will be the 2 episodes that we'll do, but we're going to be cranking out all sorts of like YouTube shorts, IG Reels, the practice clips, all that good stuff for you guys. All right, we got a lot of super chats that we're going to run through here in the after the episode portion of the show. As always, if you guys are watching this after the fact, not live, you can catch all of this stuff in the one-off video that Tyler puts together, which will be released on Friday. So if you're missing it live, you can catch it then. For the chef producing the show, Tyler Cook. For Connor Rogers, I'm Trevor Sikkema saying thank you guys so much once again for watching another episode of the NFLSE show. See you guys next week.